Hi, I'm Brandon. It is no mystery that I love Hallmark mysteries.
I'm Brian. I like Hallmark mysteries.
Dan. It's a mystery how I'm still doing this particular program. I despise Hallmark mysteries. This is the Deck the Hallmark podcast. Deck the Hallmark podcast.
Come on.
How'd you screw that up? What did you say it was?
What did we do?
Where'd you get that from? I can't believe Aaron Shea is taking the brunt of the producer credit on these last two episodes when you were just screwing it up.
Hi, everybody. Welcome.
Hey.
Great to be here today.
Who are you? Who? I really want to know.
Who are you?
Who?
Why? Why are we singing it?
Just CSI. It was a mystery. I don't know.
Oh, gotcha.
Mystery Island, The Deuce. That's right. There's been one of these over 2 years ago.
What if we call this a winner takes all just for the fun of it?
Winner takes all. Brian is going to give us the quick rundown, a quick reminder, quick refresher course on the Mystery Island universe.
The Uno.
The Uno. So, Brian, take it away.
Yeah, so they went to an island. The detective and a clinical psychologist detective go to the island, and I think they came up with this idea of a murder mystery.
Aaron, go ahead and take it away. Aaron, go ahead and take it away. Aaron, what do we give us a quick refresher?
Yeah, I can't remember the lead's name, the female lead.
Amelia.
Amelia. So she needs to take a break from her job of helping the FBI and whatnot interview and profile murderers. So her friend is an investor in Mystery Island. So they go off for a fun, relaxing weekend of solving fake murder and stumble upon a real murder.
Which immediately shuts the island down for good, and we don't have another one.
It does not. They find out that the island had been suffering financially and would have been shut down, but don't worry, they save it at the end. She and the hot detective there are tasked with writing the future mysteries of Mystery Island after they solve. There's a double murder in the first one.
It sounded a little bit like you said Mr. Island.
Mr. Island.
Mr. Island.
Mr. Island. They're writing the mysteries for Mr. Island. Yeah, they solve 2 murders, and everyone is like, yeah, this sounds like a great idea. We're definitely going to go back. A real murder would never happen again.
No.
You would probably go to a Mystery Island.
Oh, if I had that money, I'd be at a Mystery Island.
Mystery Island sounds like the best time.
Yeah.
I mean, low stakes. I get to stay in a beautiful mansion, and I could maybe solve a mystery, or I could just hang out on the beach all day. Like, yeah, I mean,
we found the resort of this place. You can stay there for like $9,000 a night.
And if you guys will send us that money plus all the flights to Panama, is that where it is?
Panama.
We will go down and we will do a mystery night. We'll do one.
Wow.
If somebody foots the bill, let's call it $20K. $9,000 for a night.
Yeah.
And then all the flights.
What if you take all the marathon donations money next year?
Dear God in heaven.
Next year, this year.
Dude.
I'm just throwing ideas.
You should really think before you speak sometimes.
We don't have a charity yet lined up, right?
I'll just say this.
Putting it in the hat.
In defense of Brian, I think what he's trying to say here is we be upfront about it.
Okay.
Yeah. I'm not saying let's take the money and skim it off the top.
What if we take the charity money?
Yeah.
That's what you said.
He said marathon money.
Okay.
Marathon money.
Yes.
I mean, 2 buckets. Dan, we got 2 buckets going.
What if we take the marathon
If I
money?
can put it in a bucket form here. We have
you heard about buckets?
Yeah. Have you heard about?
So there's multiple buckets.
So
time for this.
So we're not saying we're giving money to charity and we're taking it from.
If you wanna send us $20K to do a mystery night at the Panama House, we will do it. No one will die. Hopefully,
I dare you.
And you can use will sponsor if you want to
dare.
think of it as like a sponsorship, like your business is like we got money, we got to burn tax write off and stuff.
yeah.
We'll plaster the name of your business over all of it.
Or even if it's just a person, it'll be the Rosaline Jeffries Mystery 2025.
So we're speaking just to Rosaline Jeffries, and we're going to put this together this year.
It was yes. Guys, we move quick around here.
20K, we'll do a mystery night. Erin not invited though, believe it or not. It's crazy. She works here.
She was so excited
it's
about
dream, and she can't make it.
She was so excited. Well, she has a thing.
Can you imagine?
She told us
getting a free opportunity to do this.
Well, who's going to produce
Erin,
the show?
I'm sorry, you can't do it.
She's going to produce it.
She's messed up a couple times this week with the soundboard.
So I don't know. That's egregious.
The soundboard that's sitting directly in front of Brad.
Yeah,
I don't know what you're talking about.
Can't prove that. There's no way to prove it.
There's no way to prove that it's
That's going to be the mystery.
Who touched the board?
We'll get Jax to write a mystery, just like
we'll do a
marathon.
I do believe before we recorded today, Dan touched the board.
Oh,
I did. I had to record something else.
Let's get his DNA.
That's right. It's got your DNA all over it. I wipe this clean before I leave every day.
What the?
Before I
DNA all over it.
Yeah.
What do you think I did? Just spit all over the thing?
Brother, I
hit
know.
one button. I didn't touch anything else.
That's not what the
DNA
DNA says.
Before I leave every day, I wipe the sucker clean so that if something happens, we can get the DNA.
Do you ever think all of the disinfectant you've wiped on that is why it keeps messing up?
Who said anything about disinfectant?
What are you wiping it with?
A fiber,
Your own spit?
A fiber optic.
A fiber
optic. Yeah.
What is it?
The beam. Yeah, fiber.
Fiber
what is that called? I don't know. Like a towel, like a
like a fiber cloth.
cloth. There
Like
you
a
go.
Microfiber.
Microfiber.
This is why she can't come to the mystery.
Guilty.
She's
She
gonna
would
win.
crack the case
It's so we
so
can't.
quickly. You're not invited to
not
Panama,
fair.
Aaron.
That was
You
a test.
wish.
That was a test.
That was.
You had the
failed.
opportunity to be like, I think it is fiber cloth,
yeah.
and maybe we would have brought you.
Yeah.
But you had to come out here with microfiber. I think it's called a fiber cloth. I think that's what they call it.
You said a
satchel?
fiber optic, and we said fiber cloth. We're all stupid.
Well, one of us knows who Debbie Harry is, and that's
Have we even tried fiber
Hey, I
optics?
got people that texted me who listened to just went, you don't know who Debbie Harry is. And I said, listen, I grew up in a home where I couldn't listen to secular music till 1995. I don't know what you want from me.
The fact that you didn't immediately run to Debbie Harry says everything we need to know about you.
Yeah, as a 12-year-old, I was like, maybe Debbie Harry and Blondie first. No, I went to the ska, if you can believe it.
Where those
good
trombones
stuff.
at?
I've always said Debbie Henry is a gateway drug for ska
Debbie
music.
Harry is not. Debbie Henry,
right,
though.
very different. Don't,
My
Her
Very
name
famous.
is Debbie Henry.
don't get down that rabbit hole.
It's Derrick Henry's sister.
I'm a
It's,
gateway drug to ska. Do it.
It's good.
Let's
Good
talk.
stuff.
I hope that
Debbie Henry approves.
I hope that reviews this episode.
pick this one up.
Submit it. Resubmit it.
They haven't done a
Resubmit,
mystery
Alex.
of ours, right?
That's right. Let's do Mystery Island winner.
Oh,
Winner
we
takes
haven't
all.
done this yet.
March.
Loser walks. Actually,
That's
is
how
the,
I understand it. Yeah.
yeah, that's the third
I
one.
dare Hallmark to make a mystery movie where the colon is Loser's Walk,
The colon. The subtitle.
if you will. I call it the colon.
The colon.
Yeah.
The colon's the colon.
fishing
It just
around.
is there.
March 13th, 2025.
Mystery Island. Colon.
That's right. Hallmark Mystery.
COLON.
Hallmark Mystery Channel is where it
In
premiered.
Panama, we'll call it Cologne.
It premiered on both
Whoa.
networks.
Whoa.
That's huge news.
Double billing.
So they just didn't.
Should we start over?
All right.
Sheesh.
Well, I didn't
We got to
realize.
take all the nonsense out now.
I didn't know it was serious. I didn't know it aired on Hallmark Channel.
That's right.
I would have handled this with a little
And
bit
you
more
think you're going to solve a
gravitas.
fake mystery in Panama. Get out of here.
Sorry. Now that we know that it aired on Hallmark
Yeah,
Channel,
from
no
here
more
forward,
no
yeah.
more
I mean,
silly.
if I'm not invited, my money is on Dan.
Yeah, I think it should be. I think that's really smart on your part. But also, fiber optics over here.
Yeah.
It's not like you're putting a ton of faith in me. It's just like a process of elimination. You know what I mean? Spreadsheet camp and fiber optics.
I think
They're not getting to a
the
mystery.
problem with
Get out of here.
Brian is Brian would get lost in the details.
Absolutely.
He would. He would
I'd
just
be
be
writing
so
down all
in
the
it.
evidence. Oh,
Yeah.
man.
Yeah.
Dan would have solved the
yeah.
mystery, and Brian is still copying. The
Got a
clues
margarita by the
into-
bar over there. You guys are just trying to figure out what the fiber optics towel is called.
Yeah. What is it called? Mystery Island. The colon. Winner takes all. Aired on both networks, everybody. It went a little something like this. Amelia is sneaking around this massive house with a flashlight. She stumbles upon Jason, and he's like, I'm here to help. They open up a freezer, and they see a body. Turns out that they're actually just envisioning what their new murder mystery is going to be for the relaunch, so to speak, of Mystery Island. They're working on getting the Mystery Island back, and they decide the best way to do this, create some good buzz, is to run a contest. Contest winners will then be brought on to play Mystery Island. It's going to be good for the publicity, and when when the contest winners come up, we'll make sure that they're goodies. You know what I mean? Sure. And the goodies they are. We got Detective Bobby Teller from the NYPD. We got Alice, who runs a mystery podcast. We got CC Leaves. Sorry, just CC. Hi, CC. It's not your season. Talk soon.
I'll see you, sweet cheeks. I love you, Brandon.
Love you, my little troublemaker. And Cece, who is a mystery author. They also have some people with them. It's a fun crew. Amelia notices that Fredericks, who is the storyteller of the mystery, is being a bit odd. She notices him talking to some of the contestants in private. Things are getting a little bit heated. Just as the guy who is supposed to die begins to choke. His name's James Joms.
James Joms?
An explosion happens outside.
I was close.
Yeah.
An explosion.
Explosion.
Explosions happened outside that was not planned. And so he stops dying, and it's I think this is serious. They go outside, they check, and they see Frederick dying via explosion. Jason goes to check on him, and the only word he can say is, arrest. Before he dies. This is now a real crime scene. So obviously Amelia and Jason are on the case. And they figure out that Frederick wasn't the target, apparently, rather the COO of the mystery. That's a theory they have. And now is the time where I'm going to ask you guys, how much longer do you think I have in my synopsis?
You should have another page, so 5 minutes, but you probably have 2 sentences.
Okay.
Wishy.
All right.
Good choice.
We're looking for Washi, first of all.
Yeah.
All right, here we go. Basically, they figure out who did it. It was the actor who they brought in to act like he was dying. James, he did it. And there are so many reasons behind why he did it. It takes 10 minutes to explain, so I won't bore you with the details. But just know that he did. What really matters, though, is that they have his DNA to prove it. I have Dan's DNA on the board. So, yay, they can prove it. And he gets arrested. And Mystery Island will have another mystery soon where no one's going to die this time.
We promise.
No one's going to die. And that, my friends, was
Mystery
Island. Winner takes all.
Losers walk.
Let's take a break. We'll come back. We'll get to the show. We do the things here on
Deck the Hallmark.
This is all the pre-show.
This is all pre-show. We're going to get to the show. That's what happened. They listened to the pre-show.
You said Washi?
He said
Wishy. I
Yeah.
should have said
Dang it,
Washi.
dude.
Yeah.
You're so close. Welcome back. We're
One
talking.
letter.
I know. We're talking about. Is it really just one?
Yeah.
Dang, that's crazy, bro.
Are you high?
Let's.
Did you eat some Skittles?
Dude, I
and forget
told
to
you my
chew?
smoothie was a little bit grainy.
Yeah. What's going on?
Let's get to the
that
hot take. Is
powder.
where we share our thoughts on this movie.
And you've had 28% of
no,
it. So.
no. Yeah, it might be.
Yeah, about that. Yeah.
I would say
Generous.
40%.
What?
I'm looking at it. You've had a third.
You think you've had 40?
Maybe
You have 60
33%.
All right,
Yeah.
sure.
33.
Okay,
It's a
okay.
third.
It does
Thank you.
thin out at the bottom.
Thin-
So.
that's what I'm
Thins
getting at.
out at the
Absolutely.
bottom.
Yeah, look.
Yep.
Yeah,
Little pop.
I got you.
Little troublemaker.
What'd you think of it?
Yeah. JCP joint.
JCP, John Christian Plummer, shout out.
Guy knows what
Friend
he's
of the
doing.
show.
Yeah. Guy knows what he's doing. That actor bit was really fun, where the guy, the Texas oil man, and then this guy playing the different characters. I thought that was fun. I wish they did more of it. There was just too much going on for my little pea brain in this one. My brain's too small for this.
Your
I can't-
Princess Pea Brain.
My Princess Pea brain. Everybody knows this about me. I have a small brain. So many things going on. He's just launching new information the whole time. And maybe it's because I was tired. I had a headache. After a long day, I was trying to settle down. I didn't want to have to think this hard. It was just a lot happening. I could have used a lot more time with the whole cast other than just the two leads, the detectives. I feel like there was a good cast of characters there we didn't really spend a lot of time with. So I thought this was really like a well done mystery. It was just like so much going on that I didn't guess it. I don't even know if I was really trying to guess it because I was
don't
just
really
like,
know how you could have.
yeah, there's just so much happening. I'm like, I'm just here for the ride. I'm going to enjoy how much thought went into this, and it was produced really well. And now that I know we're going to be going to Panama to do our own, I'm like real excited about that.
Sponsored by
the charity of
Brian
whoever.
That's right.
So, I think I'm glad they continued the game out of respect for the dead, which was obviously. So I'm glad they did that. So it was okay for me, but respect where respect is due. So there's that.
So this it had been
stuck the landing.
It had been over 2 years since Mystery Island Uno aired, and I think I would have liked this movie a lot more if instead of 2 months it was like instead of 2 years it was 2 months, because I feel like I would be more invested in these characters, the two leads that I think are really good together and work really well together and are fun. I just I had honestly kind of forgot that this was a thing. I had to, thank God for Erin. She went back and she rewatched the first one and caught us up to speed. She
had to come in regularly to be like, this is what happened in the first one.
Yes.
Yeah.
Because she heard us like talking and she
this
felt
is before
bad.
she's been told she's not going to Panama, so she probably wouldn't have.
Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah.
So taking that out, what we're left with is a really fun cast of characters. I think that the podcaster character was really fun. Kristen Booth, always great to see Kristen Booth, and she played this great, like, snobby author, like, can't be bothered. I thought that she was really great. I agree. I did think that the actor acting like he was dying and then stopping and being like this is not a part of the show. I thought that was really, really cool. When we finally get the reveal at the end, this, like, I wasn't really kidding, this 10-minute long explanation
at least
of how, like, why James is the killer and his whole backstory and these, like, some connections that there's literally no way that we could have known this information because we weren't privy to it. I was just kind of left being I was just tired at the end of it. I was tired at the end of the explanation, and then for them to come in and be like, and we have your DNA. I was just kind of like, okay, fine. So, I obviously, like, I love Knives Out. I love an idea like this, a whodunit, where everybody is together and we're doing this thing. I just didn't. I think the explanation for the why, it just was a bit like long winded, and I couldn't follow. And maybe maybe I just wasn't locked in enough, but clearly I couldn't follow it, and so I didn't try in the synopsis to try to follow it. And so overall, once again, a good idea, Mr. Island, good idea, good cast of characters. Just not my favorite. How done it?
Yeah. We have two couldn't follows and one didn't care over here. And that's a shame. You did mention Christian Plummer, friend of the show, does a great job. I do think somewhere in here he's concocted a really airtight murder mystery, and I think with 2 hours we could have invested in characters and figured that out. This movie, the first 15 minutes of this movie is establishment of our leads, getting to the island, and then establishment of real murder and characters. The last 15 minutes, and I did not clock it, but I bet you it's longer than that. The last 15 minutes are an explanation of who committed the fake crime, followed by a full murder board presentation of who committed the real time. If you take that 30 minutes out of this movie, you have 53-ish minutes left. That's all you have left. And there are too many characters and too much going on to give anyone adequate time. Most of all, Kristen Booth, who is a star, who's a great character actor, and doesn't get the time to do that. The other problem you have is this is now the second time in a row that we have had a fake murder mystery where two people really die. These numbers are worse than Jurassic Park. You cannot keep opening up this island when every time you open it up, 2 people die when they're supposed to be playing fake game. So I don't know if I want to see more of these. If you have a way to make it a fake murder that we can be interested in and everyone's still alive, that would be a fun way to do this. You can't keep cracking open Mystery Island knowing somebody's going to die and expect us to believe anyone would show up. And so that was a big problem. The lack of time spent explaining or like giving us character development, huge problem. And then listen, a lot of this reminds me of Glass Onion, and John Christian Plummer is writing in that style. Glass Onion is not original. It's a sequel to Knives Out, which is also not original. Ryan Johnson would tell you he based a lot of his stuff on movies like The Last of Sheila, which is also not original. But this type of movie where the detective figures it out and then explains it all to you at the end can be really powerful. It also can be really boring if what he's explaining at the end holds no tension or you had no ability to put a little bit of it together. And that's what I felt like here. And I don't feel like that's JCP's fault. I feel like that's a runtime situation because they just don't spend a lot of time on this and they're just throwing death, clue, red herring, death, clue, red herring. I just wanted to see more interactions with these characters, not necessarily talking about the murder. So all in all, don't want another one. Wish we'd spend more time with some of the murder mysteries I like more. And this was a fun experiment, but I'm good to not ever watch another one again.
Well, and nobody on Mystery Island's ever been pulled out of a porta potty and dangled and then eaten. And so
That's
like,
true.
maybe
That's
like
true.
Let's up
Yeah.
that.
And I want to be
Yes.
clear, not that Jurassic Park, Jurassic World. Jurassic Park never does open, and those numbers are worse. But Jurassic World, when what's his name is there, and Bryce Dallas Howard and Chris
Pratt
are there, like they've been apparently like operating that park with no deaths for years. When the first kids die there. So this is every time we open up Mystery Island, you bet you're dead.
Yeah.
So that's a problem.
That's a problem.
Yeah.
It's problematic. But what better place to do it, than a Mystery Island?
If you're going to die, may as well die solving a mystery that's fake.
Right. That's right.
Now, our mystery in Panama, I want to be very clear, no one will die. Okay? It is above board.
Honor on that?
It is a fake mystery.
Let's get to the
Unless you pay enough.
all the fields where we talk about what.
There is a level.
There is a number.
There is a tier.
There is a number.
Yeah. Just contact us, Regina. All the fields where we talk
I will
about.
volunteer to die and spend the time in the old
fake
the beach
die.
house. Yeah, fake die. No, not real die. Fake die.
All the fields.
Yeah. I like the beginning where they were planning out the new murder. Yeah. And I thought that was a really clever way to start it.
Really fun idea.
Yeah, very cool. And it got me just on this rabbit trail of thinking about how cool it is and how impressive it is that the people who design the games, like in Survivor, in Amazing Race, all the games that go on. Gameplay.
Are you watching Survivor season 13 right now?
Yes.
Okay.
You noticed that on there?
Yeah. I'm like, who keeps...
Yeah. Oh, that's why it keeps
making me
jumping back.
leave
Okay,
8.
sorry about that.
No, it's okay.
So just it's great if you haven't seen it. You're on like 8?
I'm on 8.
Yeah.
Are you watching all the seasons too?
We just picked 13 randomly, and
is it because you got it recommended to you?
Yeah,
or?
somebody
Cool.
said watch 13.
Great.
We'll get to 8. So
eight's
just
great.
game design. Shout out to the game designers out there doing the hard work.
Shut out.
No, I had the same feels. Not only was it like a clever idea, I thought that the way that they did it, where they show the body in the freezer, they pan over, and there's the COO, and then when they come back, they're in front of the whiteboard and they have it all written down. I thought it was really smart and really well executed. So all downhill from there, I think, but really strong start.
Yeah,
Dan?
It should tell you everything about this movie that all three of us had the same feels, and it was the first scene of the movie. That is not a great sign. And there was so much potential there in that first scene when you realize they're writing a game. And then after that, just all mush. So that's unfortunate.
Let's take a break. We'll come back. We'll get to the Wait What the Hallmark here on
Deck the Hallmark.
Presented by Regina.
Thanks, Regina.
Welcome back, everybody. We're talking about the Mystery Island 2. Winner takes all. That's what I've heard. Winner takes all.
Yep, you heard right.
Let's get to the Wait What. It's where we talk about what in this movie made us go wait what. I'll start with you, Brian.
Yeah, early on there were a what seemed like a lot of Zoom references, and I was like, "Are we how many Zoom are they being paid per Zoom reference? Because they said Zoom call a bunch of times, twice, I think, but it felt
if
like
Zoom wanted to give us the money to go to,
yeah, we could
do, yeah.
That's a good,
Sponsored by
that'd be
Zoom.
perfect because that would
And
work
then
out
people
great.
Zoom in to watch. I mean, I feel like it's a natural tie-in.
It's like, why haven't we done this before?
Yeah.
So that was a weird thing. It didn't go any further than that. Maybe they were holding back money for our thing. Maybe that's what
Maybe
Zoom
they're holding
was
back
doing.
for our thing. Yeah.
A big part of my wait what is there was like no urgency. I felt like there was hardly any urgency among the detectives and the people running the island just to like bring in more resources, or like there was one boat that would go like once a day to bring in the police chief from the mainland, and you check in and be like, all right, great job, see you tomorrow. Like it didn't feel like they were doing a lot of work.
No.
And see, actually, the guy who did the most work seemed like the New York detective who was murdered. He did a lot of the groundwork.
And they didn't like him for it.
Right. They didn't like that. And then the guests at the island solved the social media mystery in like under an hour or one or two.
Yeah,
of them.
imagine if there were no murders to distract them. How quick of a trip this would have been.
I couldn't. But like
the podcast host was like, I got it.
Yeah, like so that's red flag number one. Maybe like don't. That's a big award for somebody who solves a mystery like immediately.
That's right.
You have no lead up, like no news coverage. It's just like done. You put it out and it's done. Like that's kind of a bad sign to start with. So I felt like, why are they starting on such rocky ground there? But I don't know. What do I know, right?
What do you know?
Yeah. What do I know?
Yeah.
I have a few. One, the podcast girl is talking to Amelia about how, she wants to like solve the crime, like the real crime. She wants to be brought into the investigation so she could podcast it and like help her numbers or whatever. And, Amelia kind of calls her on it. It's like, you're just doing this for numbers. And she's like, is that wrong?
Or a boy meets pod sitch right there.
Yeah, exactly. And they're like, she's like, is that
boy
wrong?
meets pod? That's a different pod altogether that we do have an exclusive clip of. I believe, do we have a clip?
Yeah, we do. What is this? Can someone please tell me? What is this?
Hello, I'm a pod. How's it going?
Hi, I'm Boy.
I'm glad that never
nice
took off.
to meet you. Brian, what are you doing talking during the clip, buddy?
Sorry about
It's
that.
crazy.
Sorry about that.
Now the clip's over.
Okay.
Your thoughts
Now
on it?
you can.
I'm glad that hasn't taken off yet.
Yeah.
Glad we got an exclusive on that.
I thought it would have something to do with Boy Meets World still.
No.
It was like a knockoff. It's like, just, hi, I'm Darnell.
You think
and I'm
that'll
doing Boy Meets
sponsor
World.
our trip?
No.
Could.
No.
Boy Meets Pod?
Anyway,
Don't have the
she's
finances.
like, is it wrong? And Amelia says, I don't know if it's wrong, but it's definitely ethically questionable.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Probably wrong. I think like that's like kind of the same thing.
Ethical and legal are different.
Yeah.
I think there's a lot of lawyers
We're
that
not
will tell you
talking law.
Yeah.
We're just saying, is it a bad thing?
Is it
She's
wrong?
like, it's not bad. It's not wrong. It's just ethically questionable, which I think you never want to be there. I think at the very least, you don't want to be in the gray area that is definitely ethically questionable. You might find yourself in the wrong. Maybe. It's the same thing.
There are people that think speeding is ethically questionable, though.
Yeah, it's wrong.
You think it's ethically questionable, or you think it's
I don't
wrong?
think so.
Okay. So
But
I'm
I'm just
fine
saying-
being in that.
I'm just saying is
that's a legal one
if
too,
if you think that something is ethically questionable, you also think it's wrong.
Probably.
Yeah. She's
Yeah.
like, I'm not here to say it's wrong. I'm just here to say it's ethically questionable. I feel like you're saying the same thing. I loved the end of this movie where what they decided, they got together, let's put our heads together. How are we going to do this big reveal?
This is
And what
the
they
best.
came up with was someone hit a gong and then we're all going to come out.
Oh.
We're going to wheel a whiteboard out. Danny, you hit the gong.
That's right.
We'll all surround
It's a real
them.
gong
So are we
show
going
out
on
there.
three
Yeah.
or
We're going on gong.
Going on
I think is
gong.
what we're doing. We'll let the gong guy kind of lead the
show.
charge there. That's a real gong show. That's exactly right, Dan. And then
Thanks, Brian.
just
Thanks, Dan.
Thank you.
if I'm James, and I'm sitting there and I'm listening to all this, I'm not waiting around as long as he did
Sure.
before I go, you don't have any evidence.
That's right.
He waits till the very end to say, you don't have any evidence. And they go, well, we got the DNA. And then if that happens, I'd be like, well, then why'd you do the whole thing? Why'd you have to say, spill all my dirty laundry like this in front of everybody?
The wait what of the movie is these two detectives get together and they do a 10-minute whiteboard presentation on all things that are circumstantial in their opinion when they have DNA that he's the killer. Like, guys, what did we do the rest of this for? Like, it's like John Mulaney when he's like, before they had DNA, they walked in, look at this pile of blood. Gross. Mop it up. Like, all of this stuff doesn't matter. He could just say, no, I didn't do that.
Yeah. And everybody knows that if you're going to do this big DNA reveal, you got to hit the gong again.
You got to hit the gong again.
You don't have anything.
It's a DNA gong. That's right.
We have this DNA.
Through that gong, you should be shaking in your boots now.
You should have started with the DNA.
Started with the DNA.
Dana?
At one point, our actor, James, he says, this is an actual quote. I was hired to play a character that rubs you all up the wrong way. And I want to tell you right now, James, that's one word too many, buddy.
That's what we might call ethically questionable.
I would say at the very least. If he says, look, I'm hired to play a character that rubs you guys the wrong way.
I think you're on the wrong island, James.
Yeah, I was hired to play a character that rubs you all up the wrong way. All right. Well, what you were hired for and what you're doing seem like two different things, is all I'm saying. The idea that someone bugs the entire mansion. So this cop who dies has bugged every room, and they believe that he is listening in to solve the case. How is that help? Like, just because you have every room bugged, at some point you have to listen to all that audio.
Yeah,
we learned that during the marathon. So if you don't turn your mics off when you go out of the room,
doesn't matter.
It gets real confusing.
This guy, are we to believe that he is living, working on the things in front of his eyes and listening to every conversation taking place throughout the mansion at the same time?
And no one said to him, hey, what's that in your ear?
What's that clearly in your ear right there?
Because I was like, Dan, is he deaf? Like, is that a hearing aid? What is that? Turns out he was just listening in on all the conversation.
And then we find out he's listening not only in his ear, we think it's in an earbud. He has one of those old-timey cop things that you say evidence or like thoughts into.
Yeah, recorder.
He's listening to that wirelessly. I don't know how it got to the recorder, but he's listening to all of the audio through that device. And then
it was a fiber optic.
Yeah, it's fiber optic. So, you wouldn't get it. Yeah. That's right. And then lastly, Kristen Booth's character, her whole thing is that we find out that she was acquiring from the butler or the guy who dies, whatever he's called. I don't know what he's called. He wears the tux.
Frederick.
Yeah, Frederick.
Yes.
He was acquiring all of the games that Murtaugh wrote and using them to write her novels. And he was she was acquiring them on her end completely legally. And then they basically accuse her of this like it's a crime. And it just isn't. Like I can't imagine, and I don't read really any fiction, I can't imagine you reading a novel and you loved it and then finding out that the author, all of those words are theirs, but they got the idea from somebody else. I just can't imagine that changing your feeling on a mystery novel, like on some great work of literature. Like if you found out, that F. Scott Fitzgerald, somebody else really scaffolded The Great Gatsby. Okay, maybe, right? She's just writing mystery novels. Not that there's anything wrong with that, but the idea that somehow her getting the idea from somebody else is some big cardinal sin, it was crazy to me. So that's all I got.
But you love stealing people's ideas.
Yeah, regularly. It's what I do. It's what I do best.
Yeah. It's a problem.
Right.
It's ethically questionable.
It's sure
ethically questionable. You can't say it's wrong.
I'm not saying it's wrong.
Of course,
I'm saying
not.
It's ethically questionable.
You get it.
It's time for what the Hallmark. It's really what could have been, maybe happened. That would get some clarity to the questions that we have. Brian, what are you still wondering about?
Those drinks Cowboy James made, everybody. I was kind of wondering what's in those drinks. Like that looked kind of like a margarita a little bit.
It was a Paloma. Didn't he say it was a Paloma?
Oh, did he say that?
Yeah, he said this is a Paloma.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
What is that?
It's a cocktail that's got tequila in it.
Tequila. All right. That sounds good.
Yeah.
So I guess I don't really have a good what the Hallmark then because answer provided. There goes Dan stealing ideas again.
Yeah, I mean, well, one of my...
I was answering questions. I wasn't stealing ideas. How did I steal your idea then?
Yeah, I mean,
It's pretty ethically questionable.
if it's your MO, it's your MO.
Okay, all right, go ahead.
That's
Brandon.
not for us. That's not
Yeah,
for us.
right. We're not going to.
Well, obviously, one of the questions I had, I Googled and I found it. Where is this place?
Yeah.
It's really nice. It's a
Yeah.
real.
We're going to be there.
We're gonna be
Yep.
there. Can't wait for
20K
it.
sponsorship.
That's exactly right. And then I think the big question is, we talked about it. You can't do this again, right? You can't do another Mystery
cannot
Island.
do this again.
Something makes me think that they might try, and who is going to do that? Yeah. Aaron, if you found out that the murder mystery thing that you were interested in, every time they do one, two people actually die, would you do it?
Yeah.
Okay.
Of course you would.
there's a market.
Well,
for
There's
it.
a market.
everyone who dies has been up to something. I would go and
Because you're not up to something.
I'm not up to anything.
Yeah,
You're
you have
cool
nothing
if
to
somebody
worry
else
about.
dies, though.
Well, like,
gonna
I
die.
could help solve their murder.
That's exactly right.
Drink a
Aaron's like
Palomo.
Aaron's like they're gonna die
Paloma.
A
one way or
Paloma,
another.
even I could even have a Paloma.
Yeah.
Could.
How about
I
that?
don't know why you'd want
So
one,
Aaron's fine.
Yeah.
It's okay.
She's not up. She's not up
Good.
to anything. That's
I mean,
Glad
if
she
it's
is
like
down to see a murder
many
up close in person.
weekends, I'd maybe, but like
2, whatever.
2 in a couple years, meh, that's not a big deal.
Not a big deal. Dan?
Yeah, these drinks James were making. Anybody know what those were?
They look great.
They look really good.
I heard
Anybody
it's a
have-
Paloma
A Paloma. What's that made with?
tequila.
Tequila.
Man, that sounds refreshing.
That's so cool.
Tequila.
I thought of that all
Tequila.
myself, if you can believe it.
Liar.
Great job, Dano. Try to bring one next time, bud. We did it, everybody.
embarrassing.
Congratulations to us.
Guys
We'll be
are
back
the
tomorrow
worst.
with another episode, so come on back. Until then, maybe the first to wish you a
Merry Christmas.
Deck the Hallmark's a Bramble Jam podcast is produced by Aaron Shea. For more information on Deck the Hallmark, you can go to deckthehallmark.com. For more information on the Deck the Hallmark family, you can go to bramblejamplus.com. Deck the Hallmark is presented by Philo TV. For a free trial of Philo, go to philo.tv/DTH.